Hey everyone, and welcome back. Guess what we have today? A veritable smorgasbord of social justice warriors. And they're all desperately trying to cash in on the victim card. You see, these special snowflakes are the victims of the terrible crime of not having been racially profiled. I know. How does that make any sense? Well, it doesn't. They had a camera and a couple hours to kill, so of course they invented a new problem. Let's see what the special snowflakes have brought forth today. Enjoy!
I think I'm what Hollywood would call ethnically ambiguous.
Great! So I guess that means you can get all the parts then, huh? So what's the problem?
When people first glance at me, the first thing they see is a white guy, and usually I'll have to end up explaining to people that I am half Mexican and half white.
Why the hell would you do that? Not only are you retarded, you're obnoxious and retarded. In what kind of a regressive conversation would that even be relevant? Unless you're feeling you're missing out on some of that good old affirmative action. Look at me, I'm Mexican, look at how Mexican I am. It's just unbelievable how Mexican I am right now.
No one has ever been able to correctly identify who I am my entire life.
Well, must be something wrong with your driver's license then. As for what race you are, which is what I assume you're alluding to, I don't care, cause I'm not a fucking racist, like you social justice warriors are.
I've gotten Cuban, Puerto Rican, Dominican.
Excuse me, those are countries, not races. You think you can just look at someone and go, yep, he's from France, alright? Just look at how French he looks. Come on, let's go. Voulez-vous coucher avec moi ce soir?
Half black, half white.
People think I'm Asian.
Egyptian, Polynesian, Asian.
And yet, I still don't see what the fucking problem is. So people can't just look at you and make stereotypical conclusions about you that don't really apply to you, and this is somehow a bad thing? It only goes to show that you can never make a social justice warrior happy, no matter what.
Fully white or fully Asian.
Yeah, blah blah blah, boo-hoo, whatever.
Almost everyone misreads me in some way. It's very hard to guess Danish and Indian from a first glance.
Yeah, in what universe is anyone supposed to be able to figure that out? And again, Danish is not a race. It is kind of a tasty pastry, though.
I've honestly heard everything.
Yes, I think I've heard it all now, too, after I've heard you social justice warriors defend racial profiling. Every time you think they've hit rock bottom, they come up with something even more stupid than before. It's just unbelievable.
Sometimes I wish I could walk in and just be recognized as a Mexican American.
Alright, I'm gonna solve this for you right now. Here's what you do. You buy a huge fucking sombrero and put it on, and then you hire a mariachi band to walk with you down the street. Always. Problem solved. You're welcome.
Sometimes people will come up to me on the street and start speaking Spanish frantically, and I can't respond because I don't speak Spanish.
Okay, since you were talking about Hollywood before, I'm gonna assume that you live in LA. Now let me tell you, that does not just happen to people who look a little bit Mexican, alright? That happens to everyone. Now, for any normal person, the correct response would be, I don't speak fucking Spanish, asshole. But for you, it's apparently some sort of huge personal affront.
I find that depending on where I am, people read me differently.
Sure, I can agree with that. If I found you at Goldman Sachs, I would think there's a money-grubbing vampire. But if I found you walking down the street in a skimpy dress at 3 a.m, I would think to myself, well, there goes an honest working girl.
They tend to think that I'm whatever they are. People of a Hispanic background think I'm Hispanic. People who are Asian think I look Asian.
Wow, what an awesome advantage. You can just sneak in everywhere and be accepted. Wow, that's almost like a superpower, so stop your bitching.
An interesting part of my journey as a young multiracial person growing up was rejection from sort of both sides of my ethnic identity.
Oh, you didn't get the superpower, huh? Well, I guess that goes to show that life isn't always fair. Who'd have thought?
It's just something that I grew up with my whole life. I don't fit in. I don't belong to any ethnic group 100%.
Hey, moron! Fucking moron! That's how every fucking kid feels, regardless if they have an ethnic group to relate to or not.
I never saw myself as different from anybody else until someone else pointed it out.
Oh, you fucking retard. So now you want to go out and point out to everyone else how different they are so they can suffer as you did, or what? What the fuck is this? If you want racism to go away, then stop obsessing about race. I mean, it's either that or we can just dust off and nuke the place from orbit. It's the only way to be sure, right?
I say we take off and nuke the entire site from orbit. It's the only way to be sure.
The last thing you want to do is stand out. You want to blend in as much as possible.
Do you seriously think just because you're white, you automatically fit in everywhere? Are you fucking insane?
We talk about race like it's this like built-in intrinsic thing, but the reality is we're mostly talking about looks, right?
Yes, you fucking moron. You unwittingly hit upon the truth. Holy shit. Now, will you stop obsessing over race? Because you're not doing anyone any favors with this shit.
If I'm going to be white, well then why can't I have blonde hair and blue eyes?
Ever heard of bleach and contact lenses? I mean, I'm not saying you should, but since you're so obsessed and everything.
If I'm gonna be Mexican, then why can't I have dark skin and speak perfect Spanish?
How about a nice suntan and a language course?
People think I'm Asian, why can't I have, be really tiny and skinny and like fit into all these stereotypes? But I'm not a stereotype, I'm just like me.
Yes, it's such a horrible crime that someone went through all the trouble of giving birth to you, and now you're stuck with this horrible thing called life. Yuck.
And for mixed people who sort of live in between the lines, we sort of just have to kind of be more than our racial background.
Hey, asshole. Everyone has to be something more than their racial background.
You don't need to fit a mold that other people think you should fit.
Well, since you've spent this entire video bitching about how no one can identify you, not being forced into a specific stereotype should be a lot easier for you then, huh? But you're not going for that, are you? You're going for the victim card.
It's difficult learning that you don't have to decide what race you are.
What? That sentence just didn't make any sense. You'd be surprised how easy it is to not do something. It doesn't require any learning, it doesn't require any doing. It literally requires nothing.
There's no textbook on how to be multiracial and be okay with it. You just kind of have to forge ahead and be your own person.
Well, guess what? There's no textbook for being white or any race or any type of person. To forge ahead and be your own person is kind of the definition of the human condition.
I am who I am, and no one else is like me, and that's pretty cool.
Yes, thank you for that platitude. I'm sure it'll save many starving pygmies in New Guinea and all that. Anyway, that concludes our show for tonight, so thanks for watching and see you next time.